Anke Ma'at Hotel Peace. What's happening, world? It's Ahasa. This is Afrosynthesis, and today we're getting real, and we're talking about what it means to lean into reality. A friend of mine, we had her toast has been on my mind. About a week and a half ago, we're having like a friendly toast, and she said toast to leaning in, and that was it. And right, you take that wherever you need to, and for me, I that was like the perfect language for what I've been going through, which is and what we've been speaking about, right? Building on being present is leaning into reality, right? Leaning into reality would be similar to a runner when you imagine them at the finish line, right? Like kind of especially extending their head first, body to follow, almost as if you're following through on where your head took you. And so, right, when we look at the etymology of the word reality, it comes from the Latin root res, and when you're dealing with reality, you're dealing with of a particular thing, something that's not imaginary, right? And so there are things we want to do, there are things that are currently happening, and then there are things that have happened, right? Reality is staying in the face of what are the true happenings of the current time. And leaning into reality is like the opposite of delusion. If delusion is kind of being lost and in the midst of it, leaning into reality is like once you realize what's going on, just take it full head in, right? Like they say all the time, you're running your own race. Life is a race. Life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Regardless of the race, when your heart's really in it, you are going to finish head first. And so when we talk about leaning into reality, I want to bring in the metaphor also of, I don't know another name for this, so I apologize for even how this sounds. I don't like it, but what I grew up only knowing as the Indian run. Terrible when you think about it now. It's like, why is it called that, right? But you also get the idea, unfortunately, right? But the scenario, for those who have never heard or don't know the concept I'm speaking about, is imagine, say there's 10 people in line, just to give a round number. The person who is in the front of the line is obviously setting the pace for the run. Imagine like the military. Everybody's running in a line. And the person at the back of the line, when called up or when there's a whistle or something happens, they run from the back of the line at a faster speed, right? So they break pace to run to the front, and then they begin to lead the pace of the run. We were talking about being present last week, and that being present means standing, right? Your consciousness standing before you. That's here when we're talking about leaning into reality. It's another way we can look at that, right? Is we are getting ahead of the happenings that are happening in our lives or coming down the line. Instead of just letting life set our pace, we are moving up and we are getting ahead of the things that are happening and are to happen, right? Doing that, now we have moved to a realm of consciousness. So if in our life we are always the driver, but we might not have been setting the pace, right? Are you driving your speed? Are you driving what they said the speed limit is? Or are you driving based on the speed of the person maybe behind you, or in front of you? Or, like over to the side, you might be trying to trail someone, or you driving in somebody's blind spot. What are you doing? If you're running your own race, you're focused on moving forward and finishing appropriately. And so, yeah, lean into the things you got going on right now, right? For me, that's leaning into the reality that I have not been a proper steward of my money up until this point in life. And a result of that is right, having to deal with debt. And I hadn't want to really like share that so much in my life because the way I grew up, right, like we didn't necessarily talk about money. And so I also never wanted to share my money problems with someone else. And since opening up about that reality, right, being honest and open and transparent or being truthful, like I've been, a friend of mine in counseling said, like, that's the hot method, right? The more honest and open, true, transparent that I got about the situation, the better things like have instantly been going in my life, right? Because instead of letting life set the pace, I'm getting in front of the things. By getting in front of the things, I can plan how I want these happenings to go. I maybe can't stop them from happening, but I can plan how I want them to go. And by doing that, I literally changed the actual happening, right? And so now I become a magician because I can induce my magic on the situation, but I have to be in front of it in order to do that, right? And so I hope this idea of leaning into reality helps you understand what it means to, one, get present and be present about your situation, but also how to move forward and finish strong in, right, reckoning your reality into its most favorable experience for you. And so, with that being said, I appreciate you for joining me here today to take a moment to listen, to reflect, get some fresh air, attune your body to and attune your mind and spirit to each other. As always, I say I see it, but I like to say, I'll see you next week. So it is, and so shall it be. And with that, be easy. Peace, y'all.